This is Peah Daf Lamed Tes. And the article was V'Hodar edition, and that we got down to the fifth line, Utaninon, yesterday. And in the Vilna, it's the last line on Chod Beis on the base. This line is extremely, extremely difficult to put in the context of our Gemara. And all the Perushim which are said about it are very, very dachuk, no matter which one you look at. It's hard to, and let me explain what the difficulty is. Utznina hiskaba gets alishti or gets alishti moto achsi achsir. It's the beginning of the sixth parak of Gittin, and it says there that a person can appoint the shliach to take a get to his wife. Of course, it's only shliach halacha. If he wants, he can renege. But the Gemara asks a strange question. This: if Eved roy lo lichas a get, is Eved suitable to bring a get? And in that Mishnah, there's no hint of it being an Eved. And the Mishnah we brought yesterday, which is from the first parak in Gittin, there the Taka has in the Mishnah both Tang gets Tang gets al Ishti and Shlashich Lavdi. Yeah. So there, this question would be relevant because we could assume that the entire Mishnah is talking about, if the Sefer is talking about, as we said yesterday, an Eved being a shliach for a shtar the ratio should also be talking about an Eved. And the question being then, how can Eved be given shlichus to take a get? He's not b'toras kitim mekidushin. And the Gemara's answer also makes sense. Pater litzdadim. It's the two different things in the Mishnah there in the first parak. The beginning of the Mishnah talking about using a male Yisrael, and the Chiddush is that you're allowed to use male Yisrael because Shekain where the Kabbal get beat on. The Sefer is talking about another Eved for this Eved because since he's Roy the Kabbal get Shichur for himself, he can Kabbal get Shichur for another Eved, and that makes perfect sense. But in the middle we have here this Mishnah from the sixth parak in Gittin, which seems to be non sequitur. Doesn't seem to follow. Why would we assume, as some of the Farshim say, we're assuming, when trying to understand this question, why do we assume that an Eved is involved in that mission at all? The entire parak, an Eved get Shichur is not mentioned. So it's very difficult, this line, Utzinas Kaba gets Alishti and therefore the Gra has a whole different shot. It's talking about the man, a woman, who's suitable to be a shliach halacha, shliach kabbalah, without getting into it in any detail, because it's also very difficult to understand. The Rebaz goes to that approach, very difficult to understand. So this line here seems to be out of place. The Utzinas Kaba gets l'ishti, Hola gets l'ishti, Mratza lahachzir yachzir. I'm not sure what to do with it. So although there's no, I looked in the Leiden manuscript version, there's no different girsa which is going to be precedent for what we're about to say, Libi Omerli, that this Utzninon really should be back as part of the original question. And this, we said a couple lines ago, Masnisa pliga manam areli to zochet nina tamon ten gets eli ishti, and then it should say Utzinas Kaba gets eli ishti, or gets eli ishti, mrotz lachsir yachsir, right? We see in both these places that a person can appoint a shliach, a male, to be a shliach for a get, even though a male can't receive a get. And both these brises, both these mishnahs, the mishnah from the first parak and the mishnah from the sixth parak, the Gemara then answers, Ashkein roy l'kabel get bito. Yes, he is roy to kabel get, he has a daughter. Then the Gemara goes on and says, okay, but at the end of that mishnah, at the end, on Daf Yud Alf and Gittin, the first parak Gittin, says, Shtashikul Avdi, how does that work? So the Gemara says, no, it's talking about economics. It's not talking about a ben chayrin. It's about shkein roy the kabel get shichuro. So about another Eved who's suitable to kabel's own get shichur. And then the Gemara goes on and says, Eved roy lechas get. Wait a minute, but at the end of the Mishnah is talking about an Eved. Shouldn't there be some consistency? Shouldn't the beginning of the Mishnah also be talking about an Eved? And that the Gemara answers, no, you're right. It should, but it's not consistent. But it's studying. It's the first part of the Mishnah is talking about a male Yisrael, who's where the Kabbalah get, and the second part is talking about an Eved Knani, who's where the Kabbalah get Shichur. that would resolve the problem. Again, moving the Latinus Gabel back to the make it part of the original question, just an elaboration to include the Mishnah and Perek Vav together, the Mishnah and Perek Aleph. That's the way I would, if I had my druthers, that's the way I would understand the Gemara. Okay, but so going on in any event. The following Mishnah, Polygon Mandam Roy Lito Zacha, seems to argue in the opinion that holds as long as you're Roy Lito, you can be Zoicha. The Tzion Tamon, I'm sorry, they have to be Roy Lito in order to be Zoicha. The Tzion Tamon we learned over there, the case where Gamliel's coming in a boat and he wanted to do his Chumas and Maisros, which were at home, and he was makneh the grain agav karka to the people in the boat. One of them was a Levi, and Rabbi Akiva, who was a gabbai for Meiser Oni. So, and he says there, a tenth I'm going to take off is given to Akiva as a gabbai, and he's going, and its place is muskar, place is rented to him, so it could be a kinyan agav. So ask Amar, Rabbi Akiva Roy Lito. Akiva is rich. How can he take a Maisoni on behalf of an Oni? So Gemara gives two answers. One answer is that before he became rich, he was very poor, as we know originally. So there's talking about when he was poor. And then Gemara gives a very another answer, which is pretty fascinating. You know what? Even if he's rich, the parnas. Since he was the gabbai, the parnas, the gabbai. He is not considered to be separate from the aniyim and being zoicha for the aniyim, but rather he's part of the amalgamated entity called the keren, which all the aniyim are a part of, and therefore he's not being zoicha independently and being mezakeh and so to speak 2 steps from Rabbi Gamliel to the aniyim. No. He is one of a member of that corporate entity of the keren, and therefore he's being kohen immediately for the aniyim without having to be zoicha. It's interesting. The Kavanaki points out what would be the problem of somebody who's ein roy lito being zoicha. The problem is that he is chav lachrini. In other words, I'm not sure that this is the only way of understanding it. I don't think so, but the Kavanaki is interesting. He's chav lachrini. It's taking away from other people who are more suitable than him. So that would not be a problem if he's a gabbai, because he's just as good as anybody else. Because again, he's not doesn't have to, so to speak, be maknet. Further, he is representing that corporate entity. Okay, if your parents get a yoni, the parents is like a hand of the yoni. Mr. Rabbi Shimon Levi Amar Roy Lito Zacha. Rabbi Shimon Levi learned that was the Rabbi Shimon Levi had right after the Mishnah that if you're Roy Lito, you can be Zoicha. You have to be Roy Lito. The question of the Mishnah was whether Baal Bais, who's an Usher, can be Zoicha in Peah on behalf of an Oni. Baal Bais Oni, mitok Roy Lito, Zacha. If it's Baal Bais Oni, that's fine. He can be Zoicha. So anybody's Roy Lito can be Zoicha. Okay, so now the Gemara shifts gears to the end of the Mishnah, where the end of the Mishnah said, Lechashio Peah Nochi Chayv B'Maisel Kein Hifkir. So Rabbi Yirmiyah B'Chizkiah B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan Commander Yesh Kinin L'Goy Beretzo Focho Bin HaMaisros. Says the Ribaz. Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Lezer Shem is the commander Yesh L'Nochi Beretzo Focho Bin HaMaisros. Peish Rabbi Yirmiyah is Filik Rabbi Yasa. Says my Amar leave the man Yesh Kinyan. According to the opinion that has Yesh Kinyan. Imachar L'Nochi, if you sold land to a goy, Chalutahi. It's considered to be his. V'yesh lo kinyan al kol, and he has a kinyan on the land in Eretz Yisrael. Of course, a kedusha to undermine its kedusha, v'al kinyan mammon, and on the ownership, monetary ownership. Hilkom v'ash masisa undermine yesh kinyan. Therefore, he's according to the opinion that yesh kinyan. If yesh kinyan, so why should be chayv meitzvus? But chayv meitzvus u'midrabanan gzeim mishum bali kisim kedarmina memseres menachos. So according to saying that it's a gzeira. In other words, it should be part of the Maisros. But it's a gzeira because we're afraid that people are going to adopt the ruse and give land to the guy to be part of the Maisros. So therefore, we don't let you off the hook. Like a shikhan peah of a nachri chayv a meiser. And we can ifkir. But if the guy was mafkirit, so says the Rebaz came the Yeshul Kini Yochel Hafkir. You can't be mafkirit. And therefore, if it's hefker, it's potter. Because Rabbanon are not goyis in that situation. Only goyis where the goy retained ownership, not a case where the goy is mafkir. But around commandment ainke kinyan. But according to opinion, there holds no kinyan. The goy beretz is a potter min isos afilu hefker chayav. And even if it was mafkir, it's still chayav. Says Rebaz. The other mikra dichsiv aretz lo timar chaletz bisus kili aretz lo chala mechira. We learn from the pasuk that the land should not be completely sold. Completely, because it belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the sale is not placed. Ain't no kinyan al. It doesn't have a true kinyan. I feel hefker chayav. Lamani hefker. If it doesn't work, came on Karen mamon kinyan mamon. Since this has a monetary ownership, last year Mr. Kava say the Mishnah can't go like that opinion, because then the hefker should not work. Rabbi Yosef Shem Yerucham says the opposite. He says our Mishnah's commandment ain't legoy beretz so lefotro mina maisrus. And therefore he's chayav, Yerushalmi Peah, therefore he's Yerushalmi Peah, which he doesn't have the mitzvah to give, and therefore has no chalais, doesn't take effect. Are chayav maisrus. Rather, I can't yesh kin leretz yisrael but potter maisrus. But according to me, opinion holds that a guy does have a kin leretz yisrael to exempt it from maisrus. He should kalikil. He should be potter from maisrus, not like our Mishnah. And the Gemara says, "Kal hikilu chachamim belikutim." This man, the Omar, will argue on our Mishnah and hold that even leket shicham peah, these leket shicham peah are potter. In other words, our Mishnah is specifically going like Mandamar ain't kinyan, but according to Mandamar yesh kinyan, leket shicham peah will be potter from maisrus. So they don't explain the. Rabbi Yehuda does explain the hefker part. But he's at least not explicitly, but the Brit Baz does. He says, even though he doesn't have a kin to be mafkia, the kedusha, he does have a kin moment, and therefore he can make it hefker and it's still going to be potter. But according to Mandamar, yesh kinyan, right, and it is actually according to the non-Jew. So then obviously it's not chayiv in shumas and maisrus. It shouldn't be chayiv in shumas and maisrus, and altogether. And the Rebbe says, but why it's not chayiv d'Rabbanan? Okay, fine, yesh kinyan, but it's chayiv d'Rabbanan, we just said before, because we're afraid that people are going to do ruse. So and that well, actually, our Mishnah says Yerushalmi Peah chayiv. 1 second, I was getting mixed up. Scratch that for the record. Last couple of statements, but it's very simple. According to opinion of yesh kinyan beretz so lefoter min ha'maisus, that our Mishnah doesn't work, right? Chachamim likutin, chachamim are not mechayiv in ma'aser at all. So our Mishnah, which says you're chayiv unless you're mafkirit, unless it goes mafkirit, doesn't work according to him. Period. And I think we're able to stop here for today. Yeah, we're up to the third line of Mem Amalaf.